Hey everybody, welcome back to Travel Trailer Nation. Today I thought we'd chat about what are some of the most common issues that folks have with their travel trailers. If you're online and you read the blogs, you'll see there's certain items that come up over and over again, and so we're going to touch on just the ones that happen the most frequently. The first thing would be plumbing issues. Whether it's a leak at a water line outside the trailer coming in, or whether it's a leak under your sink, at the P-trap. All of these things can be prevented usually with just a good inspection, every year or twice a year, depending on how much you travel. And it's as easy as, going under your sink, looking at the P-trap, making sure it's tight, checking the fittings. We had an issue with ours almost immediately when we found that the bathroom sink's P-trap wasn't even connected. It was just sitting there loose, so we tightened that, and then that forced us to do an inspection throughout the rest of the trailer. So I checked every P-trap, including pulling a small panel out under the shower and looking in there, going out to the main sink. Everything was loose. Even some of the water lines were not what I'd consider to be awfully tight. So this is something that you can do on an annual basis. It doesn't take very long, a couple minutes, and then you can have some peace of mind. Outside where you hook your water in, check that washer that is where the hose butts up, and make sure that that's a nice clean washer. They do get kind of ruined after time, so it's a good thing to have a few spare. I always carry spares in my toolkit just in case. Now, there's something else tied into the plumbing, and that's your black tank and your gray tank. Those have to be taken care of as well. When you're winterizing your vehicle, obviously, you're going to want to make sure that all your water lines have been blown out and antifreeze has gone through them, because for any sort of a plumbing system, whether it's your black tank or your gray tank or the lines in your trailer, if you haven't taken care to protect them going into the winter months, you're going to run into a lot of other problems. It's not going to be just as simple as a blown plumbing line. It's probably going to be something like a broken water pump. Or it could be lines that are, underneath the floor of the trailer that are out of sight that might have burst. So there's just a number of things that can go wrong. Now, one thing you don't have to worry about really, if you've emptied your gray tank and your black tank, you're good to go for the winter. It's really all the water lines that you have to worry about. And if you go to our site, we actually have a section on winterizing your trailer. It's kind of a step-by-step. And that might be something you want to look at. But remember, every travel trailer is different, so really get to know your owner's manual and go through that and make sure that you're following all the steps that they're recommending, from bypassing your water heater, because we've had 8 travel trailers and the water heater's all been a little bit different, and they're always located in different spots as well. So make sure you understand what you need to do, and then do that. But as far as the annual maintenance, like checking the water lines and the P-traps, do that. Do that a couple times a year, just to be safe, because nothing ruins a trip more than finding water on the floor of your trailer, or worse. And when we leave camp, I typically turn the water off out at the faucet, because I figure if something bad happens when I'm gone, better to have just a little water somewhere than a lot of water. Okay, the next issue is going to be revolving around pests. A lot of forums talk about ants that have gotten in the trailer and they're having a hard time getting rid of it, or a mouse has gotten in. Sometimes I've actually heard of a squirrel getting in through a skylight and then running around in the ceiling and doing all kinds of damage. So no matter what the pest is, you always want to make sure that you're doing whatever you can to protect your trailer. Don't leave food outside when you're camping. There are some bait traps or baits that you can spread around your trailer when you're camping. Anything you can do to dissuade anything from coming into the trailer is great. And once you get home, make sure that you take all your food out. There's no sense in leaving it in there anyway, unless you're coming in for a day and you're leaving the next day. Just take everything out to prevent anything from finding its way in to that food. When we used to put our trailer way up north, we would always put some decon under the bed, and we would put another decon back in another area where the dogs couldn't get to it, just in case they somehow followed me into the trailer in the springtime. There's one thing you don't want, and that's a dog getting into poison. Case in point. Now I'm talking about Texas only in this case, about pests. There's certain types of ants, the Argentine ant and the crazy ant. They have issues at about, I think, 5 to 7 of the state parks. So if you're going to go there, you have to take extra precautions. Personally, I don't go there. I found out which parks these ants are at, and I stay clear. Because I guess they are very hard to eradicate from your trailer if they get in. And in fact, they say that if you have an episode while you're camping there, to let the ranger know before you leave so they can kind of coach you through what you're going to have to do to get rid of the ants. So anyway, that's just kind of a word out to everybody in Texas that might be thinking that you can just pull into a state park and as long as you don't have food outside, you're going to be good. Not the case. So anyway, next issue would be the infamous flat tire. So nothing's going to ruin your vacation faster than sitting on the road waiting for AAA to show up or whoever your road service is. So you should never overinflate and you should never underinflate your tires. Always fill them with air. When they're cold, make sure they're at the right pressure, and you'll be good. Always check to make sure that they're nail free, and always make sure that you've got them torqued down. I run around with a torque wrench before every trip and make sure that the nuts are still torqued down. And then get a TPMS, a tire pressure monitoring system, so that the minute you know that something's gone wrong with one of your tires, you can be on the shoulder of the road. You've seen a lot of trailers online that have had a blowout and didn't know it, and they run down the rim, and sometimes the rim has actually come off and they're down onto the drums. So anyway, TPMS, it's a little pricey. I think mine was about 130 bucks, well worth it. And again, always make sure that your tires are inflated. I think that's the major cause of a blowout, is having an underinflated or overinflated tire. Another thing that's very detrimental is not using your travel trailer enough during the warranty period. Realize that people are probably, unless they're retired, not going to spend a lot of time camping, but you really need to get out there and shake that trailer down. We ran into quite a few issues originally on our first trip, but you know what? There were more issues that came up going up to the year, so it really does help if you get out and really use that trailer and find out all the issues that you've got. Keep a list. I know a lot of things are very trivial. You might have a trim strip come off. Some of that stuff you can fix yourself. On our last Jayco, the shower door handle came off, and I was not going to go back to the dealership and let them have that trailer for 2 weeks. I just fixed it myself. And I think when you buy a trailer, you're expecting there's going to be some small things that happen that you will have to fix yourself. But keep the list, and don't do anything that you think is going to hurt your warranty. You have an electrical issue, don't dig into it yourself. You're probably going to avoid your warranty. Little things like a handle or a trim strip are not going to be an issue, but you start getting the electrical, some of the plumbing issues under warranty, slide room issues. Good chance if you do something, your trailer manufacturer isn't going to stand behind it. The next item is battery failure. Deep cell batteries are really expensive, but fortunately distilled water isn't. So never let your battery discharge completely. That's almost always going to ruin it. Always make sure that your battery's water levels are up there, and that's why you have the distilled water. Don't use tap water, it's going to ruin your battery. And in the non-camping season, pull your battery out, take it home, put it on a trickle charger, and make sure that your terminals are always clean and free of rust. Now, another thing is not having a process. So when you get your travel trailer ready to move it in or out or to a campsite, always have a process so that you know what you need to do before you move that trailer. The worst thing that could happen is probably having a slide room out and then starting to move the trailer and pushed into a tree. I've seen doors that were taken off. I've seen storage doors that were taken off. So not having a process is a very bad thing. So always have a process, follow it, make sure that everything's secured, locked before you leave, and then run through those other items like the tires, and you should be good. It never hurts to have a checklist, and we have one of those online as well. So for more information, feel free to follow us online at traveltrailernation.com. Safe travels.